Last May, my mom called me and said, Sandy, just want you to know, came back from the doctors and he diagnosed me with stage 4 colon cancer. At the time, my mom was 92 and she had already battled bladder cancer, and my dad had passed 14 years prior, and she missed him dearly. Every single day she missed my dad and she couldn't wait to be with him. So when she called me and told me of this diagnosis, she wasn't scared, she wasn't worried. She said, isn't this great? I'm gonna get to be with Daddy. And at first I was happy for her because I knew how much she missed my dad, and she had battled vertigo for, oh God, I think well over 10 years. A week later, I was in Costco with Kenny. We were getting a bunch of things for the house, and I started having a panic attack. And I don't typically get panic attacks, but I felt sweaty, I felt dizzy. I had to hold on to the carriage. I wanted to hold on to his arm. And at one point I said, Kenny, I have to go sit down in the lawn chair area because I thought I was going to pass out. And he's like, you know what? Don't worry about it, honey. We'll go home. So we came back home and I said, Kenny, I don't feel good at all. I think I want to just go lay down. So I did. It was about 2:00 in the afternoon. It was a Friday. And I went and laid down and I said, I just don't feel good, Kenny. Can you just stay here with me? I said, I feel scared. And he looked at me and he said, Sandy, your mom is dying. Mm-hmm. And that was the poke that I needed to access this huge amount of grief and tears. And I sobbed and I wailed and I sobbed and I sobbed. And I've been through loss before. I lost my infant daughter, Talia, 26 years ago, who was a month old. And then my dad passed, like I said, 14 years ago. But this impending loss felt very, very different. This was my mom. And she wasn't just my mom, she was like a best friend. She and I would do videos and I would post them on Facebook, and she was just hilarious and actually gained quite the Facebook following. So the thought of losing her, we didn't know when, we didn't know how long she had. The thought of that was devastating. And I think your body and your mind give you a chance to pre-grieve somebody if you allow it to. And so I let myself sob whenever I felt the need to. And it would just hit me all of a sudden. And I just had to go with it. And I don't know if that's the way you go through your emotions, but that's the way that I have to. Like if I feel something, I have to take some time and feel it. So that was in May. In September, I wanted to have some really honest conversations with my mom. Nobody was telling her how long she had. I don't know that she wanted to know. And so one day I was over there and I was sitting on the couch and it was just she and I. And I said to her, Mom, do you want to know how long you have to live? And I said, the reason I'm asking this is because, you know, when you're pregnant, you know that you have, 9 or 9.5 months to be pregnant before you deliver this child. And you know that labor is going to take X amount of time. And then, like mentally you can wrap your brain around it. But for her, I said, I can only imagine it must be like, well, how long do I have? I said, Mom, you might have 6 months. You might have a year. And she's like, oh, Sandy, honey, no, I don't want to be here that long. At this point, she was getting really tired and her back was in pain. And she said, I think I would like to live a month. And I said, okay. So the next month, it was about a lot of our family coming in. And one of the hardest moments for me was when she would say goodbye to my kids. Now, my youngest lives out in Portland, Oregon, and my older daughter lives in here in Mass. And this one particular day, we were all visiting her. And as she hugged my kids, she said, I don't know if this is going to be the last time I see you. And it was heart-wrenching to watch for someone to go through this dying process so consciously. Like, she knew she was dying. She didn't have any fear about it. She had strong faith. She knew my dad was going to be there for her. Her parents were there. Her brother was there. She knew she was going to be with them all, and she was actually excited for it. But the process of saying goodbye while you're still living, I hate goodbyes anyway. I always have, always hated them. So there were some really hard moments, but beautiful moments at the same time. I don't know how you can avoid them. Like, they're there. I knew I wanted to go through her passing so consciously and feel every bit of it and experience every bit of what was there. What helped me was a few things. It was my writing, it was meditation, and it was also my painting found me again. My painting practice found me. Painting found me right after my dad passed, actually. I started painting like with a fever, and in 4 months painted 40 paintings. And so when my mom was in this dying phase, I started painting again, and I just started a spiritual painting practice. And what it did for me, it gave me a break from what I was feeling. It calmed my mind. It gave me a different focus away from anything that I would be worried about. So it was, my art studio became like a sacred space for me. It became a womb that I could express anything I wanted to. And I could, as you're going through the loss of someone that you love, there's so much that you don't have control over, and there are so many unknowns. And for me, when I was at the canvas, it was like, I felt like I had a semblance of control. I could create something different. If I didn't like what I saw, I could create over it. And that relieved a lot of stress for me. What we didn't know in this time with my mom was that she would eventually get her wish, that she would only be here for 1 more month. So in the next video, I'm going to share with you how we moved through the dying process with her, and some of the beautiful moments and what came through my writing with her spirit. I'll see you there.